Welcome to episode 2 of Behind the Name, hosted by Conor and
Shay.
And today we welcome former Huddersfield Giant, Doncaster, Hunslet, and now Rochdale captain, Ross Whitmore.
Thanks, lads.
Welcome to the show. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube and Spotify, and we can get more of these episodes and more players onto the podcast. Today we're going to be looking into what life is like for a semi-professional rugby league player who has both a business and plays currently in the Championship as well, which is due to kick off this weekend.
Yeah, start tomorrow.
How are you feeling about this weekend?
Good, to be fair. Yeah, we've had what is it? I think we worked it out. We've had a two-month pre-season, so this is a short one, like talking previous ones. But we had a longer off-season, which was quite nice. But it's probably fresher in your mind of playing. You don't feel like you're knackered before the season starts. So it's big positive tomorrow. It should be a good start.
And do we dare ask, normally every club, what's your goals for the season? To win silverware. Is that genuinely on the cards, or what does that look like for Rochdale this season?
I think when we did our team meeting at the beginning of the year, it's to be finish higher than we were previous year, but also to get the club in a better position, not just on the field but off the field.
Yeah.
Especially with like us as a Championship club, we're trying to build fans still. It's obviously there's a lot of off the pitch stuff that goes behind the scenes, and we're trying to perform on the pitch. But he's trying to marry them two up together, where the way they've merged the league this year, it could be we could be underdogs in the league and we could come out of nowhere, or we could find ourselves in a tough spot. But I think if we're in a better position than we were last year, I think definitely Rochdale should be happy with that.
Nice. And I suppose it's a little bit different to sort of the lads that are playing Super League, and I suppose you get them responsibilities to go out in the community and sort of make them sort of bonds with the fans, if you like. Does the Championship clubs have a chance to do that?
In a way, yeah. So like Doncaster, I don't think it happened too much at Hunslet. I think Leeds, they helped take a bit of care of that. But at Rochdale, there's no foundation like setups, but they have people within the club that will then go to primary schools and do or some of the boys that not got jobs might go and do that as supplement to the side of the training. Or I know Junior Sour, Rochdale, one of our sponsors, they do like sports in school, so he goes in there. He's not just doing solely rugby, but he helps promote the club a little bit more. Kids get to know a little bit more about Rochdale as well. I was
going to say, because Rochdale's obviously a place that's sort of had the rugby league fans, but it's that growing, you've talked then about growing the fan base and things like that. It's got to be from the bottom up, hasn't it, surely, coming into primary schools, like you say. You mentioned Donny there, they've got the foundation, haven't they? They're doing lots of work on that. It's good that I suppose Leeds are helping Hunslet to develop their players and the kids coming through. But like you say, to make Rochdale better, they've just got to get more and more kids playing rugby, haven't they, around the area? Definitely.
Like, rugby league is hard. It's on a fan base, it's an aging one. You know, there's not as, especially probably in the lower leagues, in my opinion, I feel like it's a better standard of, not as better standard rugby, but more enjoyable to watch. So there's a little bit more to it. I think it's, like you said, it's definitely got to come from the ground up. If not, you're going to be, the game's going to die within the next 10 years. It has to come from the ground.
Completely agree.
Yeah.
We've discussed this before, and we've mentioned for the game to not just evolve, but for the game not to sink. Like, there'd be a lot of people, it'd be hard to disagree with people saying that rugby league's sort of going further and further down and further away from not just NRL. I know Union's struggling as well, but for it to evolve, it has to be, where time and effort's put into what it's going to look like in 10 years' time. But yeah, I think we've got to congratulate you first off on captaincy.
Thank you very much.
Just talk us through it. How did that come about? Obviously, you've not been at Rochdale too long, but how has that come about and sort of how did it make you feel?
Like I've said before, an honour really. It's something like previously in the back of my mind that I'm quite an outspoken player, can be taken wrong or rightly. I've always tried to be a leader with my actions, and vocally that can sometimes come across wrong or right. But when it came about going to Rochdale, obviously leaving Hunslet halfway through the season, which I've never done before, just playing games, got me enjoyment back for it, coming back from an injury. It was one of them where we were just playing a game once and the club were in talks about me staying for the next year. And I said, yeah, I will do. And look, it's rugby league at the level that I'm at. If you're playing it for a lot of the money, you're playing in the wrong spot, I always say to lads. So a little bit for me, it was looking at it like, well, how can I build probably something that I'm going to be happy with, not giving up time to do, work towards something. If captaincy is something that I want to get out of my career, or, don't say the word, like building just a career around it. Gaz pulled me during one of the games and I came off and he was like, I want you to be my captain next year. And I was a bit like taken back at sideline because my assistant coach was like, I didn't think he wanted to tell you then. And I was a bit like caught off guard. So we chewed about it for, we talked back and forth about it. And then kind of off-season came, we sat on it, and then I spoke to the CEO, I said, if you're happy for me to do this, it's not just on the pitch that I want to be looking at it for. So then we did a lot of work off the pitch, and then obviously they've announced it me now. But yeah, I think I rang my captain, that was probably my first captain at Doncaster, was Sam Smeaton, and I was a bit like, what do you do? Like, because I've been known to go, I can blow off the handle.
Yeah.
He said, just be you. So I've asked a few people, like, not key things, but like what's their interpretation of being a captain and, what would you do's and don'ts being away? And he advised me just to be you. So
I think that says a lot about you, mate, just how you sort of spoke then, in that sense of you spoke to people. You probably reflected on already being given been given captaincy and what that sort of looks like on a pitch and off the pitch as well. You're a leader of men, comes in many forms, but as you said, maybe vocal, that possibly on the pitch helps, but then how you've just spoke then and talked about you speaking to other people, still learning, would have been quite easy probably for you to just jump in and say, yep, no problem, I'll jump in, I'll be captain. But you thought about it, and clearly obviously well thought of by the club. Have you ever been captain sort of growing up, sort of like younger days? Have you always felt that sense of I'm a leader of a team, whether it be Giants, whether it be right back to amateur?
I think it kind of like, when I was in the academy at Huddersfield, I think it kind of was like, I kind of always not had ambitions to do it, but I felt myself like when I'd signed scholarship, I trained the year above with the weights. I was always a bit like, what could be the next step? And then I was quite an hot-headed kid, so it's not really, I think I had the leadership qualities, like the coaches used to say, you've got the qualities, but then on the backside, you've got the qualities that let you down in that area. Yeah. So it's probably been a bit of a work in progress, coming out of the, your age categories, under 19s, going and playing men's rugby at 20, 21 was probably a big eye-opener for me. And you learn how to deal with different people, to deal with yourself when as much as rugby is life to us all, there's more to rugby than just playing the game.
And interesting how sort of you spoke then about them flaws that sort of affect you as a player. Some things that probably can work both ways as well, a bit of a double-edged kind of sword where it helps you probably on the pitch, but then, as you say, you described yourself there as a little bit of a hothead, if you like. I think you used the phrase hothead. Give us an example of what that looks like.
It could be a number of things. If I've not done something right in training, or as cliche as it sounds, standards. Like if lads aren't doing stuff that's been asked for, if I'm not doing something that's been asked for right, I'm quite hard on myself in that way, where I'll quickly voice my opinion, probably too soon. Yeah. And that can probably come across being like, well, you have not earned the right to say that, or why are you saying that? There's ways and means to say stuff. But yeah, I've had, even to now, it's still a work in progress. It'll always be for me. But like the funny one last year that the lads talk about at Rochdale, we were playing a exit set, and I tried to put a kick in from 9, and we're all going like tits up.
Is this in a game?
This is at training.
Training, right? Yeah.
I've kicked ball, spooned it up in air. I've had a cap on. I've just flung it on the floor, gave myself a talking to, and all the lads have just stood there absolutely laughing at me. And that comes in time to time. Like I've had it on a weekly basis sometimes with me, or it might go weeks where just I hold myself to a certain level, and I don't mean that in a big-headed way, but I like to think lads hold themselves to them similar levels as well. So that's why I'm probably harder on myself more than what others should be.
I'm just thinking there, sort of a few examples of, it goes right back to amateur days, doesn't it? When probably I'm assuming you're one of the best players as a kid, but you've got parents that just send the kids anyway to go play rugby and they're stood on wing and you're going mad because balls just hit them in the face.
Yeah.
You know, you can see it, can't you? And I always remember one of them back when I was playing, we played at Bradford Dudley Hill and someone's kicked off and I can't remember if it was a cup game. Gone to catch a ball, it's just spooned off his face. But everyone's going like mad, and I was just thinking, poor kid didn't even want to be there. Yeah. I know that changes as you go through, but like you say, you've probably got these standards, but unfortunately, unless culture's used a lot, isn't it? But unless the culture of standards are like that, and I suppose, is it harder to get in a semi-professional environment?
I think yeah and no, because you're in training for such a short period of time. So like for us, we're in season, we're in 2 days a week. Pre-season can vary from 3 or 2 days. And you've got to get a gym session in, review, or wrestle session in pre-season. And you've got to get on the pitch. You might have an hour and a half and an hour. Lads are getting there at 6:30, 6 o'clock. And then you're not leaving till 9 o'clock. Close to 9:30 sometimes. So standards have got to be on from the get-go. So like when you get in, because we have a lot of lads that come from the amateur game, or we have a lot of lads that have dropped down the leagues, or you've got a real mixture of not ability at different levels, but people from different circles of how it works. But we've always tried to get the standards from the first few sets of just like, even it's just simple things that you see under 8s doing, a few catch and pass drills just to get you into it, because you've not got 5 days to train for a game. You've got 2 days, and in theory you might have an hour and a half, 2 hours. So these Super League lads are doing that in one session, and we've got that over 2 days. So you ain't got a long time. You've got to probably do some stuff on your own side, but some lads love it. Some lads like the fact that they're not in all the time. Yeah.
And when you say like you're taking these lads from amateur game, or they're stepping down maybe to Championship from Super League, it's bringing them all together, isn't it? And it's that core skill, I suppose, getting that right. Everyone plays in almost the same skills, the same moves. It's just who executes better. And
well, that's it.
For me, from what I see from outside, I don't know if you agree, but it sort of looks like the teams that end up performing the best are the ones that get the core skills 100% of the time, all the time. You know, that's what it looks like from the outside. I suppose just going right back then, Ross, to sort of like your journey, you know, it doesn't have to be every nut and cranny of it, but sort of how you came from just growing up, getting into the game, and is it something that you've done from being very, very small? Did you get into it late and then right through to sort of where you are now?
So I think I started quite late in the lads that I played around with rugby. So like I came into rugby when I was probably about 10 or 11.
Right, yeah.
Played a lot of football. Whereas like the lads, when I went to Craig, a lot of lads up there have been there since they were 6, 7, you know, even younger probably.
So you were no good at football then?
No, the hot end like, stopped me. You can't tackle rugby tackle people at football. So we went through that whole, like went up to Craig, got into it, kind of like could channel my aggression into something, and my energy into something that could actually be returned back, that I actually enjoyed, and you could see it almost like a transaction of the effort that you're putting in does get rewarded. So 3 years at Craig, and then I moved to Lock Lane, and then we had a good team at Lock Lane, and then got offered a scholarship at Huddersfield. 2 years in that, just, you know, twice a week with them, played a few games, and then...
Did you get any other offers for scholarship?
So Wakey and Cass. So I did a few sessions with Wakey, like
the pathway stuff?
Yeah, similar stuff like that. And then Cass, we used to do, before we signed a scholarship, we did once a week with Cass, like doing the gym and field session. And then Huddersfield came in last minute because my amateur club at Craig, I think they only put us down for Wakefield. So Huddersfield and Cass came in quite late. And then I went to Huddersfield, had the meeting with them. Fletch was there on academy. He was there on scholarship.
Fletch?
Yeah.
Surely he was one of the worst players since scholarship.
Hey, Fletch were nippy. He was very quick, Fletch.
For anyone that hasn't seen episode 1, Go and look at episode 1. Features Fletch. He'll be back on soon, but he still claims to be the player that made Jake Wardle who he is now.
He played outside Jake and he finished some of his tries for him. That was like early days scholarship, because obviously I grew up with Fletch, and then his dad was like, they've been asking about you. So then we got down, trained with the older boys. Then met Andy Kelly, Steve Hardesty and all the coaches, and from there really that turned into 5 to 6 years, going from scholarship, 3 years academy, and then a little bit of reserves on the back end before COVID came.
Who was in your age group at Giants?
In his seniors, the senior twins, we had, my first year with Matt English. He's just doing his testimonial today.
Yeah.
And that's crazy. We had, Wardle was a year above me, and he didn't play the first year or two of me being in academy, and he came back and he just killed it.
Really?
Mate, we played a 30 minutes and they went, right, you're not playing again. You're going straight into the first team again.
Right.
He was already a first team player, but he came back from a few injuries. He was a freak.
Were you playing centre then as well?
Yeah. Jake could play. Yeah, we had Isaac Farrell, who's at Keighley now.
Yeah.
We had, who was else in that year? John Luke Kirby, who's at Midlands. Sam Hewitt. So me and Sam used to play in the pack together, or he played back row and I'd play 13. Ollie Russell came in halfway through my second year, and we had through my first, he came from Wigan. Jamie Greenwood, he's at Siddle now. A lot of boys that are still playing.
I'm going to say, it's a good squad, that, isn't it?
We had my second year, we got to semi-final to play Wigan, and then Wigan just brought all their boys back and just dusted us.
Like your academy you're talking about there, or scholarship second
That were
year?
Academy, that.
Academy second
Academy
year.
second.
When you say third year, is that because we're doing under-19s at that point? Yeah, then obviously...
so we did under-19s. So my first 2 years were with the lads above me, and then my last year was my age. I was the oldest of that age.
Yeah.
And so we had... Ollie Wilson came in my last year, and he played 4 games straight in.
Right.
Aidan McGowan.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's just left the club. A fair few boys.
Do you think they get it right? Do you know, like, a lot of you talk about a lot of the time they lose players and some don't go back to the amateur game after release. Do you think more often than not, from your experience at Giants, do they get it right, the lads that end up making the first team?
It's funny that, because I think it's an hard thing getting into Super League, because the boys that are there, everybody knows, people get this age at different stages.
Yeah.
So to be 19 and playing Super League, you've got to be some athlete. Like we had Josh Flanagan at Hunslet the year we got promoted, and he was just raw talent.
Yeah.
Now look what he did last year.
Yeah.
Like he just, for a losing team, he tore it up. But he's a young lad.
Yeah.
Whereas some lads take a bit of time to get going. So I don't think there's a wrong or right question. Like if they get it wrong or right, I think a lot of that does come down to the individual. Because like you've got to be very patient. And you think at 22, and I was the same at 21. Well, why am I not playing?
Yeah.
Well, you're young. You've got lads that have played 300 games in front of you that can still do the job.
Yeah.
So it's about being persistent. Do I think they get it right all the time? No, they wouldn't. I don't think they do. But that's why I do think it's very hard. That's why lads stop playing. Because you put so much into it. It's like, what am I? And the amateur game's very different.
Do you think Shay? Do you think do you think the idea of the academy system and the filtration, is it not filtering the best rugby players, but filtering the players that are up to the standard of they're willing to work hard enough for it? Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Getting into Super League, you can't go into, maybe there's levels to it. Scholarship, possibly you could go in. Not saying you do it half bothered, but you go into your scholarship and your talent sort of takes you so far.
Yeah.
Academy, it probably starts to get a little bit more notice. Then you're not in that first team surely, unless you are literally working and covering every single detail that's been asked of.
Yeah, it is hard. Like when my first year, first 2 years of academy, even though you were part time, you were full time. So first year we did gym at say 6 o'clock in the morning. So you'd be getting to the training facilities early, and then you're like, right, college at 9 o'clock. You go college till 1, and then you're on you might be waiting around for 2 hours till other lads finish college, and then you in the gym, wrestle, on the field, and then that's it before you know it's 7 o'clock. You go home, you repeat that. and you might get a Wednesday off, and you just get into that routine, and it's quite a lot for a lot of lads when you've come out of scholarship where you pretty much get everything handed to you.
Yeah, it's just turning up, isn't it, on a Tuesday or Wednesday night or whatever.
It's quicker, like, well, everything gets stripped away from you. If you don't almost stand on your own 2 feet, it's quite hard.
Yeah.
Because scholarship's almost like quite mommy coddle, they'll look after you, and then you literally go within the space of 2 months. No, they're brutal.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to build you, like in academies, to build you to get ready.
So what were you doing at that point then, Ross? So you're 16 at that point.
Yeah.
Finished scholarship. You've gone into academy. You're saying you're getting up at 6 in the morning. Well, earlier than 6 in the morning. Getting to the facilities for around then.
That time was because we had, one of the coaches wanted us in before the first team.
Yeah.
That was the first team coach. So but he was just trying to make our days shorter, so we weren't coming in. So we did that for like the first pre-season.
So as a 16-year-old, how are you meant to get from?
You've got to catch a 5 o'clock bus. And
that's probably a massive thing, isn't it? Like for a 16-year-old that's probably you might be used to getting bus at 8:30 to school or whatever. It's very different getting an 5:30 bus, isn't it?
Yeah, massively. And we had a lad coming from Rotherham.
Right.
So like, you got to get a train. So some lads would have a bit of, not leeway, but they'd have to catch stuff up in their own time.
Yeah.
But then I think that quickly didn't work quite well, but then your days got longer then.
Yeah.
So then you'd be training there till 8 o'clock at night instead of being there till 6. So everything was on time frames, and you felt like a lot of it was quite Monday. You were doing the same thing 5 days a week, 6 days a week, and it's hard. You're leaving in the dark. At 16, you're like, is this really what I want to do?
Yeah.
And then on me personally, I then, after my first year of college with Huddersfield, we did my personal training qualifications, because where I was training away from the club, when I said I was going to take it, it was like, well, why don't you do that and come and train here? So I filled all my free time up with working.
Yeah.
So then it was literally the free times that I had away from rugby, I'd be working in the gym or just be loitering around where I was.
I'm going to say it's a big jump, isn't it, going from getting dropped off by your parents or whatever on a Wednesday and a Friday night for scholarship to then academy training before, then later on in the day. I always wondered, how does it work for, say, someone that's at college, for instance, studying sport, because that's probably what they throw them into, I think they still do, to a lad that wants to do an apprenticeship?
So my dad's a Sparky, and when I got offered my contract, I said to him, is there no chance I can do, like, me said to do, so they put us in the lads that signed, well, we weren't I won't say we were the smartest, some lads went to Greenhead.
Yeah.
So they could pick the courses that they wanted to work, whereas us, we just did a BTEC in sport. But I said to him, is there any chance I can do a Sparky's apprenticeship on the side? And my dad stopped me and he was like, look, no, if you're doing this, you're doing what they tell you to do.
Right.
Like, you're going all in, you're doing it all together.
Yeah.
And the club said, well, we can't do that, because if we had 4 of you doing that, the timetables change everywhere.
Right.
So it's very hard to like juggle a lot of things, because a lot of lads that I played with have gone and done their apprenticeship at 18.
So they've done it afterwards.
Yeah, you're behind the 8 ball in theory. Like, you're 2 years behind, you're 23 and you're still an apprentice.
Yeah.
Whereas you'd have been 21 and finishing, you're fully qualified.
You almost feel like then at that point, you sort of get your dad's point, don't you? You've got to do kind of what they're saying, but I think there's got to be something as well where the clubs now, you'd like to think they were supportive in terms of, like, if it is an apprenticeship, there's a different way of trying to get it, whether it's speaking to colleges or what. A lot of lads were wanting to go down that route. It's quite popular. We were saying before, we like trading now didn't used to be as popular. I'm not saying it won't with rugby players, but either people went to uni, but I dare say now some people are going down that tradie route because probably seeing some brass that maybe can come from it.
Probably. Like, when you're in the academy and you get a contract, you think, oh, brilliant, I'm going to get paid. But when you realise that you've got to start paying for your bus fare, a bit of lunch, or...
Do they contribute towards that sort of stuff?
So, I think it depends on your situation. So I think the lad who lived in Rotherham got a little bit of bus fare. He might have got some like travel expenses. Yeah. But like for us, I think it was like £72 a week we got paid. It was like $3,000 a year. It wasn't really a lot. Like, you'd get $290 a month, and you go for a Nando's once a week together, and that's gone.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And you get your bus fare, you might be able to buy a bus ticket that's £40 a week. It goes quite quickly. You've got to be really smart with it, or you've got to pick jobs up on the side.
Yeah.
Or a lot of lads are very fortunate. The mums and dads help out loads, and that's the big thing. Like, your career isn't just you. There's a lot more behind the scenes and what goes on.
So obviously, fast forwarding through, then you obviously have that academy journey. We spoke then about lads that are kind of lost to the game as well. They've got the reserves programme.
Yeah.
Does that plug the gap or not?
I didn't agree with it. So when the reserves finally brought the reserves back in the year COVID came, and I think it did do a job, but the issue is you had a lot of young lads, again, at 19-year-old, going on a reserves contract, but they wanted you to train full-time with the first team. And basically, what you are doing there is filling in spots. Yeah. And that's the hard thing, like, people probably won't be too honest to say, but you are just there making numbers up most of the time. And if you're lucky, you'll get a shot, and if you take your shot, then you're playing once or twice a month. It's not, for me, the reserve system should have been, you should play the curtain raiser to every league. So if Giants have got Leeds and Giants play, well, the academy plays, then the reserves play, and then the first team play.
Yeah.
It's like we've got it completely backwards.
They just stopped doing that sort of stuff, haven't they? It used to be a thing.
Used to work.
They used to do it all the time. Always, I know the odd time they do curtain raisers, but
yeah.
It used to be that the academies, I remember loads of times going to games, and if you were there a little bit early, there'd be a game on before.
Yeah.
And now you go to it and there's nothing.
No, and I think that's where we kind of like missing a trick, especially Super League, is you want to try and keep fans in the ground or get fans to the ground. Well, you've got 3 games there. If I go and play, my mum and dad come, our lass comes, she might bring a sister or a friend. Well, if they watch me, then I'm going to want to watch the first team, so then they'll probably stay around. You've got more people in the stadium. I think we need to have a massive look at how Australia run it. As hard as it sounds, you can't copy them, but they follow that. It's a simple process. It makes sense.
You think it does. I mean, we've been over it, haven't we? Share different stuff like this and what it looks like. Would it be fair to say that kids are picked up too early? Scholarships too early?
I don't think so. I think what the hard thing is, they're either not picked up, not too early, but there's quite a lot of pressure put on them because they only play 8 games or so many games, and naturally kids are going to put pressure on themselves. So if I don't perform, I'm not going to get it.
Yeah.
It's like doing your exams. If you don't pass your exam, that's it.
Yeah.
Well, if I don't play well in these 4 games, and kids play differently at different stages or develop differently, and that's why there is a big drop-off from scholarship. Kids either stop playing or the amateur game slows down because these lads just go, well, what am I trying for?
What you find is, if you spoke about Lock Lane there, if you've got 10 kids from Lock Lane, so you're a good team, all gone on scholarship somewhere, you play your scholarship, then 8 of them have been kept on with academy, we've only got half a team left.
Yeah.
Just can't play anymore.
No, he's massive.
Is it that, I know, we're going way back here, but they used to have sort of your service areas in your districts. I always think, are you better served having them up to 16 and then you have or at least 15 maybe, another year of it? Just seems mad now, they're like 13-year-old and they're on these pathway programmes at clubs, and before you know it, they've got Wigan or Saints or Huddersfield tracksuits on it. And I know it's like football in a similar way. They're trying to probably model or replicate something along them lines, but
I think that comes down to the society and culture of the rugby though.
Yeah.
Like, as a young lad, if I'd train for Huddersfield Wednesday, Saturday, but then I'd go play Lock Lane on a Sunday, when I train Tuesday, Thursday with them, there was no, you might be at the scholarship, but you're with your club first. Your amateur club, you play your amateur until you sign academy. And if you don't sign academy, you stay on it,
Yeah.
I feel like some lads now, as actually it might sound, they're trying to be footballers.
Yeah.
You were rugby players. No, you earn the right to be a player.
Yeah.
You get you might get your tracksuit, but we got taught when we got us tracksuits at scholarship, you don't go walking down the street in it thinking you've made it. You're miles off it. But some lads do, like, there's a lot of, put a tracksuit on, you think you've made it. You everybody's done it. I'd have done it.
Yeah.
You've not. You've got ages to go.
It's a bit of a flex, isn't it? Especially like when they're still at school and, the 15, 16-year-old and they're walking around with the Rhinos gear on and cast gear, whatever it might be. It's probably just looks cool to some people, doesn't it? But you understand it, don't you? There's this thing now where it's almost like they have made it. The only thing is I was shocked then when you said it with that $3,000, because I don't think that's changed in 8 years.
No.
It's still the same. It's like, how has no inflation gone to...
Yeah, massively.
I mean, some now are on free on nothing.
Yeah.
But they're expected to still turn up.
So that's the thing where I don't feel there's enough. You want kids in the sport, and I'm not saying kids should earn what the big bucks from it straight away, because you've got to earn it. But there's got to be some sort of an incentive to help them out. You're putting a lot of pressure on parents here, and parents do end up carrying a lot of the slack, and it's hard when the kid's getting 18 and they're still having to drive over to training, and it's 9 o'clock and they've not got. Rugby league is not you deal with so many different cultures. You've got athletes from all backgrounds that play. You've got people that are in wealthy areas, not wealthy areas. But I just feel like the top from the top, it doesn't help that out. For me, like they do it up in Scotland Rugby Union, all the clubs until they're professional. So if you're in the academy, you're all central contracted. Right. So it all comes from the Scotland Rugby Union. Yeah. And they're all central contracts. A bit like cricket, in a way. And then when you get a professional contract, I think you paid by the club then. And then that's separate, because then you'll start earning more money. So I think they try and do it where it's a bit more generalised until you're at a certain point.
Makes a lot of sense. But sometimes rugby league don't make sense, does it, unfortunately?
No, confusing.
But yeah, what we want to sort of bring up as well is that experience of sort of like your latter years at Huddersfield, sort of coming to end of your academy, and did you have any sort of opportunities to be around the first team, with these players at the time? So that would have been, what year would that have been towards back end of your academy?
2019.
90,
so that was
COVID.
Just before COVID, yeah. So I was close to making a debut twice that year.
Right.
So
for first team?
Yeah. So it was when, I think it was the year KR went down.
Who was coach?
Simon Wolford. So I got on well with Germ, and obviously Robbo was my old coach, and Scott Griggs was my current academy coach. And you've seen other clubs just drip feeding lads in and out, and we'd done all pre-season with the first team, and we were training all their repose sessions with them. And I felt like I was like knocking on the door, and then we did one drill one day, and Germ gave us all a bit of a spraying. I said, well, we're doing full contact or not, because it's hard as a young kid. You don't want to go full whack on these pros that are like, you don't want to hurt them. I was never going to hurt them.
How mad does that sound? Yeah. You don't want to hurt them.
Exactly. Well, I said to him, all right then, and I took a backline carry, and I went flying like 100 miles an hour, and Ollie Roberts shot out that line and absolutely smoked me. I did a full 360. Jez pulled me after and was like, mate, I've never seen anybody do that. And they just said, everything I do is test match. Like Matty English said it to me once, like, you just test match everything. And I did it, and then that week I got called up into, I was 18th man for the KR game. And Michael Lawrence was about 50-50 on playing, because his wife was just having a baby. And I went into the change room and there was no sign of him. I was like, this could be it.
Buzzing.
Yeah, and then next minute he comes in, buzzing like, just had a kid. And they're like, so I go on about my business, carry on, don't sulk about it. Went back, trained with him again, and then we did our run through. We were playing Wakey the day on a Saturday, and the first team were playing on a Friday. I remember that game, because when Bruffy left the year.
Right.
And I got called up to go be 18th man again. So I ran on, warmed up.
When you say call up, what is literally, you got...
Yeah, so Griggs is when you got to go.
Right.
So I had to go back down to the GTC, jump on the bus with the first team. I've just finished training, or go home, sort some stuff out. Met them at Bellevue, or got on the bus with them at Bellevue.
You have time for an haircut?
No, honestly...
What, a TV game?
I don't know. Friday night, and I got there, and I remember just being like... So I warmed up, did my bits, 18th man, and they kept saying to me, just be like ready. And I thought, I think I've got more of a chance here. Because I think my English was like 50-50. And on the last 2 or 3 baggets, they were like, be ready to go. And then...
So that 18th man, because you see it all the time, don't you, where they're there, and it's... How hard is that to be, like you say, to be ready to go? Do you think sometimes some 18th men are just, like thinking, like, like going through motions and stuff in a warm-up, like...
A lot in my time, especially in my last year at Donny, I did it nearly every week. At 23, you can either sulk or go, like... And to be fair, you've got to kind of... You can look at it and go, well, I've got to get something out of it. And if lads see you sulking, you can be... Because you've got to get them ready for a game. And at the end of the day, you're in a team, like...
That's your job.
That's your job, and as harsh as that sounds, that's your job to do it. So I was just buzzing to be there. Like 19-year-old, you'll throw yourself into anything.
No, name on back at jersey and that.
So there's the funny thing. They never named me, because if they'd have named me, they'd have had to. Because technically, I was on an academy contract. They'd have had to put me on a first team one.
Right.
So they were only going to announce me if I would have been 100% playing.
Right.
And then that's because in Super League when I was there, you had to be paid a certain amount to be classed as it. So I think that was a bit of the.
Do you get any brass for warming up with them or out?
No.
Nothing.
So did all the warm up. Like I think
just for fun then.
Yeah, a bit of the experience. Like they'll say to you, it's the experience.
Yeah.
So I was like, I could be on here, and then they started the game, got changed. As I walked out, must have been 5 minutes in. I think it was many years ago. I had some head knocks from then. Matt English got injured there, like 5 minutes into the game.
Yeah.
And I was like, he said I knew I probably shouldn't have played, or not shouldn't have played, but he kind of was like carrying the knock and he got injured. I thought that could have been my chance. And I'll never forget the game, because I did all prep with him, and Bruffy slotted a drop goal to win up game. And obviously the game plan was to... Dave Fafita were playing then, he just absolutely smoked centres.
Yeah.
And then Bruffy slotted the drop goal and it was like, boom. It was written because he left that year. I'll never forget that game, because I was sat in one of the boxes that's been at Bellevue, was like, you felt like you were going to fall through it. Like on the other side.
Behind the sticks?
No, on the other side.
Sorry, the little gantry thing?
Yeah, mate, honestly, it's like you could fall through a window. And he slotted a drop goal and it was like, wow.
Shame, and it's a bit like not saying a sliding doors moment, but do you ever look back at that? And you could look at it two ways. Great experience, I was part, I was there, I was knocking on the door. Do you look back at that could have been the opportunity to sort of fully fledge yourself into that first team environment?
I think so. Because so when I left that year, I went and played Union, and Michael Lawrence was training with Jamaica at Kirkstall, and we crossed paths and we were chatting, and he was like, said I could have made my debut, but he said, why? He says, I said, mate, I am not telling you. You just had the birth of your first child. You went out and he played really, really well. I was like, you can't. Yeah. I'm fucking scared of you, mate. I'm not going to say up to you, 19-year-old. But I think it's one of them, like, I'm not a believer of you. It'll be what it'll be, but it helps you create the path that you do going forward.
Yeah.
So would I have loved to play Because it could have been a completely different story. But then again, I could have played one and then that's it.
Interesting, mate.
Yeah.
Last thing, just to touch on the rugby side of things. Well, from your Huddersfield side of things. You talked then about you sort of left then and went to Union for a bit. When you leave at the end of that season, for people that I suppose don't know, so that's on the end of your academy contract, is it? What is that? Are you at that point just having a conversation at training? Are you taking it into office? Do you know it's coming?
So they offered me the reserve contract to stay, and I just wasn't. I felt like I had a lot more worth to myself, and I kind of said, well, I owe myself more than just to be a reserve player.
Were people getting first team contracts?
A few were, but I even said to them, just give me a number. All I want to be is, I'm not bothered about the money. I just wanted to feel a part of the work that I'm doing. I'm coming in every day, and I just feel like, where's the next progression? And then they talk to you, but that's why I chose Union. I said, I need to have a bit of respect for myself. And inevitably, that probably might have shut, that sliding door moment might have been then. So when I've gone elsewhere for 3 months, if I'd have stayed in the reserves, I could have had a good pre-season and something could have come on the back end of it.
So when you say reserves, you would have been training in that first team environment?
Yeah.
Right.
But then again, it's a full-time environment.
Yeah.
To be reserve, and I've got to work full-time, whereas Rugby Union was looking at 3 times a week.
Yeah.
I could work the hours that I needed to work to make up the money that I was going to lose.
Right.
And then obviously COVID came about.
Yeah.
And it was hard because, like, obviously that year, sorry, going back to your question, was I just walked into Grixie and Robbo and pulled them and said, I think that's me done. And they were all probably took shocked by it. And they tried to say, I said, look, and they were probably, I think Andy Kelly, hopefully I'm saying the right things for him, I don't want to speak for him, but I think he was quite annoyed at it because obviously I put so much into the club. I know you're only a young lad, but I didn't feel like what I was getting back out of it was, even for my age, was the right respect for what I'd not deserved, but what I'd have thought would have been adequate for
So were there no negotiation on them coming back? Look, we'll put you in, and we'll nothing.
I think it was an hard one because I kind of said like them asking me my decision.
So you made the bed, so to speak, and
when I make a decision, you've got to go with it.
Yeah.
You can't agree something and then backflip on it.
Yeah,
like you've got to be a man of your word.
It's mad, isn't it? I suppose almost you left feeling. How do you feel about the club? So you're a local lad. Look,
it's like I love the club, but then at the same time, there's a little bit of bittersweetness. You know, you're a bit like. It's a lot of it sometimes on yourself as well, but then also the people in there. Like, I had a lot of conversations being like, you need to be fitter. I'm like, right, how can I be fitter? I'm probably one of the fittest in my age, like in my position. And then you're like, if you don't want me, I'd rather people just be honest sometimes. Or it's an hard one. Look, you go back, I've been back to the club and played a few loan games on, you know, just playing the reserve games through Doncaster for him. And looking back, it was probably the right thing. But trying to digest that at 20-year-old, as 21-year-old, 23 is hard. So you're like, should I have stuck it out? Should I have given it an extra 2 months just to see what is?
Were there any opportunities to then go any other Super League clubs for same thing, a reserve contract, but possibly a better opportunity? Or
I think,
did you not explore it?
I don't think I explored it because of the deal came through from Union. I probably kind of got my head that switched onto it, that I'm doing this for myself. Kind of cascaded like Rugby League was like going to be on the back burner for the next however long, and that probably shadowed over a lot of the stuff. Like I was in my own head doing what I'm doing, and that's my only probably looking back at my time there. If I'd have just been, but then who knows? You don't know, do you?
No, you don't. I suppose just to finish on that kind of topic, what kind of advice would you give to, I suppose, a 17, 18-year-old that's possibly finishing up an academy contract in a similar position to you? I'm not saying would you approach it any differently, but how would a lad that's in that position put his best foot forward to make that first team? Just
try and speak to the club and get as best honest on answers as you can. It's hard for some clubs to see where you are what you're going to be for the future, but try and have a path of what you need to get to the next point. So if it's, you know, some young lads you need to put more weight on, get stronger. Just explore all the avenues that you can before you then make a decision. Don't make a decision that the club doesn't want you, and that's it. Or if the club's got an idea for you, make sure you ask questions. Don't just be a nodding dog. Like, explore what can come. So you could say all the hard work stuff, but explore. Ask questions is the biggest one. You see too many young lads now that are scared to ask, can't have a conversation with them because they're too scared.
Like it, mate. Good advice. So moving on, you mentioned you sort of got yourself in a position now where you look back and you think, you know, you said you were a believer in kind of what happened then leads you to sort of where you are now. You opened a business?
So then I was PTing all the way through, down at a gym locally in the village to where I am.
Posh village?
Clayton, where? So I was PTing down there doing between 10 to 15 sessions a week, doing a few classes a week. And then when that came, just carried it on really. So I'd almost always been working in a way, and then COVID, and then so that was, I've been there since I was 2016. So 19, 20, COVID came, and then after, kept working through that, and then I had the opportunity to buy into the gym that I was working in. So I had a chance to work in with my business partner. He let me buy in, so I was 21 or 22 at the time when I bought in. Bought in some shares, and then we moved premises up to Skelmthorpe. Kept growing and growing and growing, PT-wise, building, and then obviously coming out of the backside of COVID, went into rugby again, Doncaster, working the two alongside each other, obviously being part-time, but then obviously taking a step up with business, like trying to, you know, build a business to live off, not just make a couple of quid, just so you can go out on the weekend.
So just to run these kind of alongside each other for people watching and listening, it's you've got this job now, you've bought into the business.
Yeah.
Were you like a 50-50 owner, or did you just have shares in it?
Yes, I had 30, overall I had 30%.
Did you, so you're 21?
21. coming out of COVID, so it'd have been 21, 22, that back end of probably going into being 22.
So
get blurry them years.
Very, very. I was sort of wondering, do you know, again, for people listening, say, you sort of quite flippantly say, I bought into a business.
Yeah.
So kind of completely changing, you're playing your rugby alongside, you're at Donny at this point.
Yep.
Yeah, so you're at Donny, we'll run the rugby alongside it, but focusing on the business side of things, you bought into the business. Did you know what you were doing?
20, no, not really. Like, in truth, like, honest with it all, I was probably very naive.
Yeah.
I had a lot of outsiders telling me don't do it, a lot of people telling me to do it. I've always been a big believer in that. I never wanted to get to 35 if my rugby career ever lasted that long, or 25 or...
Thinking what now?
Yeah, I don't want to set up. So I was always thinking from a young age, and that's what I always thought about with my dad's business, trying to build, get in the door with him, build his business, but then I've had to do it in a different avenue, and I thought, well, and that's what I said to the business partner I had, like, I don't want to get to that age and then have to make a decision. I want to build into it now. So I spoke to a lot of people that have bought businesses. Like, I'm quite fortunate. My uncle's done the same. Like, my dad's partner's done the same. So, but I probably was very naive with the due diligence that I did.
Yeah.
It was almost done like quick, like bit of transfer over of money, buy a quick, like it was almost done looking back on it as a bit of a blur.
Yeah.
And you kind of did it because it was, even though it was a partnership, we had quite a good friendship.
Yeah.
So you kind of, there's a lot of trust in there. And at 22, I probably thought I was older than what I was going into business, because I'd done it for 4 or 5 years beforehand.
Do you think rugby league, especially whether it be semi-professional or professional, do you think that matures lads quicker? In a sense of, not saying mature as in acting maturely, but certain avenues, like, I don't know, do some lads end up having kids? It's a bit like football, isn't it? You see younger lads having kids quicker than maybe lads that are just in jobs outside. Do you know what I mean?
I think it's hard. I think you naturally get quite more mature. Because you have to imagine it, like at 17-year-old, 18, if you're going to be training with the first team, you've got to almost you're training with lads that are like, 30, 32. You've got to be mature in some level where you can't just be a kid,
Yeah. And is it
about.
like you're around, like you say, 30-year-olds, 30-odd, 20-odd-year-olds that possibly have kids as well, and then you naturally, it's maybe like the people, you probably spend a lot of time with these, you're seeing them 3-4 times a week, and then naturally you then fall into that kind of categories. I was just wondering, I always thought it were interesting, like, do they mature in a sense a lot quicker than possibly those that are just doing the jobs outside, nothing to do with rugby?
I think you do in your world. I think you mature quick. You mature quickly for an individual, not rugby aspect, but as a person in there, because you've got to go do what you've got to do.
Yeah.
So you can't be like that unreliable with stuff. So you have to you've got to mature. You've got to be on time for stuff. So
definitely. What's the fine for being late?
This one at Rochdale now is a tenner.
£70 a week gone for me.
Or that's if the coach says it's a bad enough. Got to have a bit of leeway with some lads.
True. I was going to ask you this. So back to semi-professional rugby. Let's just say one's a teacher.
Yeah.
Right. They're
all jobs.
They're high up in school or whatever job it is. Work meeting carries on. Some safeguarding thing, whatever. They've not been able to get to training starts at 6:30. They've not got there till 10 to 7. What does that look like?
I think you'll come into like the gym. If we were in the gym, and you'll probably get a little bit of lads looking at you laughing like, oh, that's a fine, that one. But again, I kind of you've got to be realistic. You're dealing with grown men.
Yeah.
Like, if somebody's telling me that they've been late for the job, you've got to go, all right, that's fine. You've got to listen to them and go, you can't be too harsh with people. Again, because it's a hobby. If people coming in all the time getting fined because they're doing the job, they're quickly going to be like, but you'll have a bit of a laugh and a joke with them. But if it's an occurring thing, you're going to go, look, mate, like, you can't be, you've got to, the lads are going to not be annoyed at you, but you're just going to think.
I suppose if they're late, but they're turning up with a coffee in their hand and whatnot, it's like, look, well, you've stopped at garage, haven't we? Yeah. All that sort of stuff,
Yeah. There's a few, we've had some belters, some good finds for the being late.
What's worse?
Get him in, you'll be a millionaire. Like, best man in the alive.
You reckon I'll get in on training trial?
Yeah.
Hey, why not? Get you in, lads, do a podcast with them.
Right. I might come down tomorrow.
What position? Centre?
I don't know, what do you reckon now? I was 95 kilo the other day.
Were you?
going down there.
Back row.
Might be a back row, you know.
Get you on a fade line, close to line.
Can you do it? Can you wear them tag belts? Well, like,
Put you in an orange babies, non-contact for the first week. Best.
see how it go.
To be fair, you get some people with kit, boots.
Right.
Like, oh really?
Does anyone ever come and get off his shoes on?
It's lads with like sliders and stuff.
Bad.
Like in gym, you can't do it.
Nah.
Or people.
Turn up in Crocs in gym.
Yeah. You get that quite a fair few times. And I felt guilty for that one.
What is the heaviest fine?
Because we've got 2 sets of fines. So one's like training and one's game day. I think the heaviest one's not turning up to a game. So like if you're in an on squad and you don't turn up to an home game, I think it's 20 quid or something.
Is that when you say they're basically not they're part of the squad but they're not playing?
Yeah, so like say if the 18 that are there, and if you are if you're not playing in that 18, you should be there on a home game for me.
Right.
So it's a 20 quid fine, I think.
And just what do they do? Just put in WhatsApp, oh lads, I'm not coming today.
Or you'll just see them if they don't come, and then you can do like court and stuff.
Yeah.
So court's quite a funny one. Kind of it's hard because whenever we've done it before, fines have always been like brushed under the carpet when you do court, whereas if you're not there for me, it's like, right, bank details straight into kitty.
Yeah.
And then you've got no answers.
Need sum up machines, don't you? Going round.
Yeah. Or cash.
That sorts it.
Or keep cash flowing.
Club might just employ you afterwards to go around taking fines off people.
Everybody gets it. Physios, coaches.
So everyone involved.
There's no one gets away with it.
So it's the club, innit? It's part of the club. You're all part of it. Culture. Do the same thing, yeah.
Yeah, massively.
Like it, mate. So obviously we spoke about, obviously you moved in, you bought these shares in the business. Fast forward through to sort of last year now, it would have been. Talk to us about it. You set up a business. Just talk us through it.
Long process. So
give a shout out as well. What's the business?
More Fitness. So coming away from where I was previously, I set my own up. So More Fitness in Penistone. Got a little studio down there where classes, PTs, just functional health really. That all came about from probably a good life lesson, learning in stuff that I never thought would come about. So being in a business situation that kind of went sour in the end. I won't go into too much detail about that because that's not for me really to wear. But it came to a point where I had to make a decision for myself because it wasn't just affecting me in the business. It was affecting my life away from it. Rugby on the pitch. I got injured at rugby. And then I'm thinking, well, if I'm going to do something, I've got to make sure it works around that. And if you're your own boss, as harsh as it sounds, you can kind of have the freedom to do what you want.
You're more in control, aren't you?
Yeah, and I think where I was previously, that might have been a bit of a factor of what became quite annoying. So fast forward that. So as I agreed to sign at Rochdale, I took the lease on of a unit in Penistone when I came away from the business that I was at, got my shares out, did 6 months. It was horrible, like word speaking, you became to hate the job.
Yeah.
And I always said to myself, and I spoke quite openly to my clients, if you see me becoming, and it's affecting your sessions, this isn't right because you're a paying customer that comes for me. And then a few of them, like probably starting to go down that route of not paying, we're paying you for not what you should be giving us.
Did you find that then? Were some clients actually honest with you and started to see a difference?
I've always said to people, be honest with me. If you're unhappy, say it. The bit that annoys me, rugby, life, work, don't beat around the bush with it because no one knows where they stand. What I don't want to do is get down the line and 6 weeks later and hear from someone that I wasn't doing my job properly.
Yeah.
So a few of them they were just coming in, starting to see it be consistently. Like they'll see me on a Monday if I've not played on a Sunday. Oh, he's in a bit of a bad mood. But I come round from that. But when it's day after day, people are coming up to you and like, are you all right? Or something. I was like, I need to get my son out of this. It's even like little things like sleep was out the window. Wasn't sleeping, wasn't training properly, becoming obviously someone that I didn't want to get that rut into. Like I'm not a massive talker on mental health, but it was starting to become affecting that. And as soon as I came away from it, it was probably like I just felt like a load of weight lifted off my shoulders.
Did you find this was something then that was building up over time? You're going home.
Yeah.
It completely affected
massively.
Life at home, and then from that point, you've then decided to make a change, and obviously better for it now.
Yeah.
Obviously the business is thriving.
Massively.
Big competition coming up.
Yeah, I've got a competition coming up. So, and that's all it's been, like just little baby steps with the business. Like it's 6 months in now, but it almost feels like I'm new in my job. Like I was telling you earlier, I've done this for 9 years, but taking the business on, it was just, I had this like energy just come out of nowhere. Yeah. And like when I got the ball rolling, it was like, and I had to almost slow myself down. So I was like, don't be too keen. You can't run before you can walk. So like, I had a month where I just set the business up. So I had the keys, I set the business up. To be fair, I'd been setting it up in my mind in that 6 months of period before coming our way. Yeah. So I was setting it up. I had the business model in my mind. And then I had a month where I just had the unit and just set it out how I want to set it out. Because what I didn't want to do is, and what I've learned from obviously listening to different stuff or previous things, if you don't get the business model right first, once you're in it and you keep changing it, you're going to be banging your head against the wall.
Yeah.
So, and then it could have been one of them, like...
Just going back, Ross, to when you spoke about obviously getting that captaincy opportunity and you're reaching around to different people and business players and stuff about their sort of experience as a captain. Did you find yourself doing the same thing when you were opening the business? You find yourself speaking to other people about what they did or how things run, or is that kind of the same
massively
route?
Yeah, I did, because I've got a lot of clients that are self-employed that have done businesses, been really successful, that have almost had falls in the business career and personal lives and stuff. So I kind of like probably over-searched to make sure I was doing the right thing.
Yeah. And
I asked a lot more people. But again, going back to when I was at Huddersfield and I made that decision, that was the beauty thing. Now I've made that decision, what I was doing in my life now, I was doing it. And when I got the opportunity to get the unit, I didn't think twice. And as soon as the flooring went down, I said to the girlfriend, she was getting worried, well, what if it didn't work? I said, well, there's no ifs or buts, we make it work.
100%. I 100% agree with that. There's no... There can't be a case of once you've put your mind to something, you just has to do it. You find a way, don't you?
Yeah.
And it's like when you're, again, likening it to on the pitch, when you're in the trenches, you just got to find a way, haven't you, to get out of them. Yeah, otherwise, you're getting smoked.
Yeah. Put a smile on your face, bad or good, and you just embrace it. It's cliches, all these sayings sound like you've just got to...
They make sense though, don't they?
100%. You've just got to get up and get after it.
I suppose going on to that then, what's been your biggest challenge? We spoke a lot about the rugby side of things, but what's been your biggest challenge in business since setting up? So, has there been a moment where you've sat there and thought, this is either whether it's something you've got to sort, something that's just come up out of nowhere? Just thinking for anyone as well, I'm sure there's plenty of other semi-professional rugby league players or anyone for that matter that might watch this and think, where do you start with business? And it isn't all plain sailing, is it? So what's been your biggest challenge?
A lot of mine was the behind the scenes stuff. Because as actually it sounds, being a PT, I had people that came with me. So worst case scenario, if my classes didn't take off, I had PT clients that was doing it. I had, still doing 30 sessions a week, 40 sessions a week, which was my bread and butter. So that wasn't really much of a worry. It was the behind the scenes stuff, because I'm not very,
talking about the administrative side of things.
Because I'm not. Tech, I can't do tech.
Social media.
Can't read or write. I struggle with that stuff. But put me in front of people. Yeah. So like getting insurances. The girlfriend's had to help me loads. Like she's been ace, and it was kind of like a bit of a, well, you either do or don't do it. Yeah. Again, the situation where you need your insurance, so you've got to go source it. Probably dealing with new people again. Again, that was a big worry for me, because you worry in this industry that you become almost, you might get something called like imposter syndrome. Do people probably come to like you for what you do? And you can almost oversell yourself to some people and be worried about have you done that right?
Yeah.
There's a number of things. Running a business, like you'll know, there's no one day same. And I think the biggest one, probably still yet to come, but at the time it was all the nuts and cranny stuff, like the stuff that probably pushed me out of my boundary, like going and speaking to a landlord.
Yeah.
Do you know, I've never had to do it.
Yeah.
And going and speaking to a landlord, agreeing a lease. Actually, no, I don't agree with that. Asking questions in those things that on a rugby pitch, if I disagree with them, I'll ask them.
Yeah.
But in the world of business, know your values.
Did you almost feel like as well, because you knew going into it, your landlords sort of hold the cards and things like that, so you know, you'll hear people say to you, don't agree to the first thing that what gets said, but then you're just like, it sounds good anyway, so we'll just... Then next minute you got someone in your ear saying, no, you need to go back and say... And I suppose, again, on a rugby pitch, that conflict is fine, you can deal with that, but when you're in the world of business, because it's not your bread and butter, so to speak, it's finding a way again of trying to deal with someone, even though you probably feel they sort of have that little bit more knowledge, I suppose.
Yeah. So that, again, I've been very fortunate to have, like, my mum and dad are both self-employed, that done really well for themselves, working in travel and as a sparky. And then, like, my dad's partner, she had nurseries. You know, asking them questions, my uncle having his own business, like, getting as much knowledge from people about, like, what they know or what they did. Like, I spoke to my uncle because he was the only one that I know that took a lease, or got me, like, my dad's partner to look through the lease agreement that I had. It's little things that, for me, is like alien, but to them, they've had a little bit of knowledge and they've seen it, and asking them questions and asking people that are your customers, what do you think to this pricing? All right. Asking them questions I've never been scared of, because it's going to be a yes or no. People are either going to pay it or they're not going to pay it.
Yeah.
But you just don't want to miss the early steps in the business, where then those easy steps fall.
Do you find that the standards you spoke about from playing rugby marry to the business?
Yeah, massively. I would jokingly said it to one time to Andy Kelly. He was like, like the standards that you have there that we learnt in the academy at such a young age, he says, if you don't carry them on away from here, then we've not done our job, or that you aren't that person. And they have definitely stood me to who I am in business.
Yeah.
You know, like cleaning the gym, being punctual with time, being able to communicate, delivering what people need to. You've got a job at the end of the day. It's like going on a pitch. You've got to go do your job. It's the same in people. I've stopped a class before and said, look, I've got mates that come, said, you lot pay me to come here. We're not having a laugh and a joke.
Yeah.
You need to get some out of this. Because I don't feel like you are. And the guy was like, why are you saying that? You don't have to justify it. I said, no, I do, because what I don't want to do is 6 months down the line, people go, why am I spending my money there where I feel like I'm not getting a value out of it? You know, and I feel like if I hold myself to them standards, people then see that as well, and then they can do what they want with that.
Nice. Well, I'm going to assume that my next question would be, what's something that's probably stood you in good stead? But I was probably going to say maybe the standards and things that you've carried through massively. Probably answers that one. Lastly, just in terms of this can be rugby or business, who's had the biggest influence on whether it be career in what you're in now, your business, or whether that be sort of your rugby career?
Tough one. I've got numbers of people. I think me and the girlfriend laughed about this one the other day.
She'll be happy. Give her a few shout outs.
She'd be good. Like, obviously my mum and dad, obviously, you know, they do everything they can for you. But probably my old business partner. Right. Like, as bad as it ended, I learnt good and bad from him. Like, he helped me a lot through the rugby stuff. He was almost like a mentor, you know, taught me through a lot of stuff when I was young, told me to control the controllables. Like, I was always someone that's trying to fix everything.
Yeah.
And I'd be getting stressed about, if you're not doing your job, why I'm losing. No, just look after yourself, control what you can control, and then marry them up together. And if you're happy with something, you're happy. Don't go complaining 2 weeks later.
Yep.
But I learnt a lot of bad stuff from that as well, obviously. I'm not going into details what happened, but then I've learnt loads of good things to how I'm going to shape my life going forward.
Nice, mate. Like, Shay, I think you're going to fire away at these quick fire questions. We've got 8 relatively quick fire.
Quick.
So it doesn't have to be one word, but you know, you can expand on them if you want, and then I'll ask you one question at the end. I'm interested to see
how quickly
what you're going for this.
Some of them aren't that quick to be fair. Well, yeah. Well, we'll start anyway. First one. Any superstitions pre-game?
Ooh, pre-game. That's what we're saying in the sheds.
Yeah, well, just
night before or
probably morning.
Quite with my food. I'm quite particular with my food. I try to stay away from red meat. I like, you know, have a certain bag of sweets before, pick and mix.
Pick and mix sweets?
Yeah, fruit gums before, banana Snickers. Always have a Snickers before a game day. like an hour before kick-off.
Mate, have you had that creamy Snicker before?
Oh, they are. Oh yeah,
Oh,
the little
so
ones. They're good then.
yeah.
I can't change it though. Got to always be a Snickers. Not really mad. I used to have loads, but then things can change.
Yeah.
And then that shouldn't affect your prep.
Have you seen any mad ones from any other players?
So this one's really weird, and we always joke about it. A lad at Hunslet, Aidan Scully, used to have a big bag of Monster Munch pickled onions. Honestly, before a game.
Just breathing on them at tackle.
Mate, it stinks. Somebody nicked him on his debut and he went ballistic. I couldn't believe it at first.
Oh wow. We'll go on to the next one. Best player you've played with and against.
Weird. That's best player I've played with. Could have a few. I've always said in my academy years, Ollie Russell was the best halfback I've played with. Best player playing with in... that is an hard one. That is hard. I'm going to go years at Donny. To be fair, Brandon Douglas. Honestly, watch him at Bradford, he's a freak, like strength-wise. And best against... Who have we had?
Suppose going back through when you were in academy and stuff, who were some of the players, suppose some class players that have kind of gone on and made it now, whether they were at Saints, Wigan, Warwick? Were there any...
Harry
really
Smith.
good? Right.
His kicking game was the same when we played in the academy. You like the lads that are out there now, to be fair, but then Harry Smith's probably the key one because he's always the Wigan boys were in.
Yeah,
You know, you look at there was a lad called Kane Barnes that was at Wigan, freak.
Where's he now?
He were at Workington.
Right.
Just because he's from there, and he could be playing Super League now, and he's one of the best back rowers in League One, champ, mate. Good looking lad and all. Seriously,
Not many of them.
Run, there's not.
One thing that you'd ban in the gym if you could.
Buy from the gym.
Yeah, ban from the gym.
Or ban from gym, tops off.
Tops off.
No lad should take the top off in a gym. That should be banned, full stop. I've got a fine system for that. Seriously.
How much?
That's tenner, that one.
Tenner.
Yeah. So every time you take your top off, tenner. Or I see a post with it off, tenner.
Who will be the next? Who will be the next England coach?
Ooh. Would I like to see someone younger? Maybe. But I probably would like to see a coach who's not been affiliated to a club for a while.
Yeah.
I don't like the, coaches being the way that they were. Strange one, because I generally can't think of who's about at the minute.
If you could handpick someone.
Or maybe just someone you'd like to see there, don't necessarily.
I think Sam Burgess obviously would be good to get a player that's, he's played the game. He's still got a few more years for coaching for me.
Yeah.
But I think, we did well under Wayne Bennett. I think getting another crack with him, I think he'd change a few things that he changed in that time.
Nice.
Good shout. Coffee order.
Flat white, minimum. Nobody should order out else. None of these matches are flat white only.
Can't stand the matches. Night before pre-game meal.
Normally chicken based. I had a Wagamama's last week. Oh. Chicken wraps tonight. Again, try and stay away from red meat stuff. Yeah. But I've had to learn to be, you playing rugby on a Saturday, if you and your missus want to go out for a meal, you can't just stay in and have chicken every night, and chicken and rice. Yeah. So you've got to, sometimes be flexible and don't let that affect you. Because a meal won't really affect you.
I'll throw one in there that's not. Where's your go-to food place for your missus to go to?
What? Any time?
Suppose if you could go anywhere, missus rings you now and says, right, we're off out tonight for tea. Where do you want to go? Where are you saying?
Day ideas.
To be fair, Stuzzi's is good, but we like Gaucho's. Good steak restaurant.
Posh there, lad. Opens up in Pennis. Nice.
Next, go to cheat meal.
Ooh, that could be a number of things. Good steak meal always goes well. Can't go wrong with your traditional Nando's, but
peppercorn sauce would be on that.
On side.
Yeah.
Not on it.
Yeah, I don't like
too much overkill. That. It's just a good steak or to be fair, a good barbecue meal in summer. Just a good barbecue meal you can't go wrong with.
Yeah. And who will lift the league leaders in the Super League season this year?
I reckon.
Do a league leaders and, by the way, Challenge Cup's just standing dark that. League leaders and grand final. League leaders, I reckon you'd be surprised with Lee.
I went Lee.
I think Lee, we've trained against them this year and Lee could go very well. Yeah. I think Lee could, I want to go KR league leaders again, but I want to see Lee get grand final. You need to see clubs like that or Awakey. Yeah. We need to see clubs like that that are, doing something for the game, actually get something out of it. I know you can't they shouldn't just deserve it, but they're putting the teams together that are, they're causing some havoc.
And I think on that basis of like Lee winning that Challenge Cup, KR winning that grand final, it's really opened up that Super League competition to not just having 2 or 3, 4 teams. Like now it's like you don't know where Saints are finishing, you don't know where Leeds are going to finish, because it brings Lee and KR into mix now.
Wakey the underdogs. Wakey had a good year last year. They'll build again, and they've recruited really well.
Can you see Championship clubs coming up that do out?
Toulouse, I know we played. Well, I didn't play, but I was out there, and I think Toulouse have probably got the best shot because they've been together for a while. They've trained full time.
You haven't signed many players, have they?
No, and they could do. I think Toulouse will do quite well. Obviously, it'd be nice to see York do well because again, they're growing the club. What Bradford, they're a massive part of rugby league history.
Yeah.
Like if Bradford do well, I think the league does well.
Yeah.
Is that going to be the case? Maybe, maybe not, but that's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a tough year for both clubs because I think there'll be some bottom Super League teams that will have a year like they had last year again that won't be able to compete.
Yeah.
There'll be a big tie between top and bottom.
And lastly, Ross, just to finish off, what does... Oh no, we've got to ask this question.
Oh.
If you were getting in a scrap in Huddersfield, what 3 players are you choosing to be alongside you?
2, because obviously Ross.
Me?
Nah, they'll be standing behind.
I'll be running.
Who are you standing behind? 3 players. Can be anyone. You don't have to play with them or out.
Anyone.
Just
rugby players.
Go up rugby circle,
Right. Sam Hewitt. Sam was always tough. Like, on the pitch as a player, you think he will carry them in. I've never seen Sam take a backward step regardless. This one, if you know him, Missy Talapapa.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Mate, we bought
Fev for a bit.
Fev, yeah.
Yeah.
He's the one that hit James Shaw late.
Yeah, I remember
at that Challenge Cup.
Yeah.
We did boxing at Donny and he's handy. He's fast. Salmo, mate, you can't break him. He's honestly rock solid. At 42 and he was still playing last year, he was better than most 22-year-olds. Last one.
Paul Sykes, isn't it?
Do you know who he's 2? They might... Well, I've seen this one box and he can't, but he's a grub. Benny Cockayne.
All right, yeah.
He's just, mate, proper. and
Told you hard
well, to be fair, then you've got Dougie, Brandon Douglas.
Right.
He, coming from that Donny era that we were there, those 2 could just never, you can't put them down. But then, I'd probably have to go with Dougie because he's a brig house lad. He's just hard as nails. He just smiles at you. He just keeps, Dougie get whacked and not flinch.
Not be phased. So we've got us 3 there. We'll have to get them all set up, we'll have to get something sorted. Could have a competition at your gym. Get them all
get
in.
Gloves on. All signed
We'll invite them all down.
If it all happens, shutters getting shut, that's it done.
Last one then. What does success look like for Ross Whitmore in 5 years' time?
5 years' time. Rugby-wise, hopefully still building a career where, hopefully this captaincy can become something that becomes more than just a year or, try and build something where I build a career at maybe one club. I look at, being in a foundation of, people not look up to you, but you're there. You've got a lot of games behind you where people hold your name with a bit of weight. Career-wise, keep growing. Maybe look to get the unit, maybe hopefully next door, expand a little bit, grow the comp side, grow the classes, get a few more PTs in, get that fully up and running where I'm in the business but I'm not running the business. Family-wise, this is probably the biggest one for me, is obviously get married next year, looking at building a family, 2 kids maybe, build a life where me and the missus can not just be, living from week to week. We've got a family to build for. We can go away on holiday and enjoy sometimes. We're making memories. Be a better person than I am 5 years' time down the line.
Love it, mate.
Top class.
Well, thanks, Ross. It's been a pleasure,
Thank
mate.
You, lads. Thank you very much
on the show.
No problem.
And we'll just finish off by saying, if you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe on our YouTube and Spotify channels. This is episode 2 of Behind the Name with Ross Whitmore. Thank you to Nova Coffee in Sisset, Huddersfield for hosting the podcast and sponsoring it, as always. Cheers, guys.